Go like and share, get some people on this live, mainly because I'm about to reveal some stuff that, Lord just told me to talk about today. Going out of this year, going into a new year, I need to bring you guys up to speed with some things that I've kept very personal.
Still not clear why they crashed or how the other people in the van are doing. The Grammy-nominated artist was known for songs like Wish I Didn't Miss You and No More Rain.
New at 4, R&B soul singer Angie Stone has following a car crash. She was on the way to Atlanta following a performance.
Welcome back to StarHush. It seems there's more to Angie Stone's tragic passing than we initially thought. Jaguar Wright has come forward with shocking allegations suggesting that Angie's death wasn't an accident, but a deliberate act by influential figures in the music industry. Just weeks before her untimely demise, Angie Stone took to social media, expressing her frustration over powerful individuals allegedly stealing from her for years. She declared she was done keeping silent and was ready to confront these industry titans. Tragically, shortly after these declarations, Angie was involved in a fatal car crash near Montgomery, Alabama on March 1st, 2025, where she was the sole fatality among 9 occupants. Jaguar Wright, known for her outspoken nature, is now raising suspicions about the circumstances surrounding Angie's death. She points out the timing between Angie's public accusations and her sudden passing, implying that these events are more than just coincidental. Wright suggests that Angie's death may have been orchestrated to silence her and prevent her from exposing industry corruption.
R&B singer Angie Stone has in a car crash. We're told she had just finished a concert in Mobile, Alabama Friday, was heading to Atlanta when the van she was riding in crashed.
Y'all know who you are. You've been spotted. You've been seen. Your worth is useless to me now because I've seen the data. That's all I'm going to say. I got a team of people, a diesel crew, that's really trying to help me navigate things. And if I never get it, at least you heard it from me, because I don't know what they might do to keep from paying me all the money they owe me.
Fans and fellow artists are now questioning the official narrative, with many taking to social media to express their doubts and demand a thorough investigation. The resurfacing of Angie's final interviews and social media posts has fueled speculation, leading to widespread discussions about potential foul play. Angie Stone, born on December 18, 1961 in Columbia, South Carolina, was deeply rooted in a household where faith and music were intertwined. Her journey in the music industry began with the pioneering female hip-hop trio, The Sequence, in the early 1980s. She later transitioned to a successful solo career, releasing acclaimed albums like Black Diamond and Mahogany Soul, solidifying her status in the R&B and soul music scenes. Angie Stone's story didn't just start with music, it started with soul. From the time she could walk, her world was filled with melodies of praise and rhythms of devotion. Welcome back to StarHush, where we're diving deep into the roots of Angie's iconic legacy.
I'm just here to let you know I am so outdone with things that have been going on in and around me. And because we're at the end of 2024, I kind of just want to shut it down.
Angie's earliest memories were shaped by church pews, clapping choirs, and Sunday morning solos. Her parents wasted no time introducing her to gospel music, and it became more than a sound. It was her sanctuary. That church community didn't just nurture her spirit, it molded her voice into something unforgettable. By the time Angie was old enough to speak, she was already humming harmonies that could silence a room. Her father, a passionate member of a local gospel quartet in Columbia, South Carolina, wasn't just a dad. He was her first manager, motivator, and musical mentor. He'd take little Angie to see some of gospel's finest, groups like the Singing Angels and the Gospel Keynotes. Those live performances lit a fire in her heart, making her realize that she was destined for something greater. Watching those legends command the stage gave her chills and focus. She started performing regularly at First Nazareth Baptist Church, where she became a favorite voice among the congregation. Every note she sang added a layer to her confidence, helping her refine that deep, soulful tone that would later become her signature. That church didn't just raise a singer, it raised a future star.
I knew it was an attack. I knew it was a spiritual attack on me. However, I was treated and God healed me. He cleared up. They cleared up the blood infection.
But Angie's ear wasn't limited to the pulpit. As she got older, she soaked in a world of sound: soul, funk, jazz, R&B. And you better believe she blended all of it into something special. When neo-soul began to bubble up in the 90s, Angie was already a pioneer without even knowing it. She didn't just join the movement, she helped shape it. From church solos to national stages, Angie Stone wasn't just making music, she was making history. Her voice wasn't just powerful, it was unforgettable. Angie Stone had that rare kind of sound that made people stop in their tracks. Rich, smoky, and full of emotion, her vocals didn't just touch souls, they moved them. And she wasn't just singing for herself, she was paving the way for a whole new generation of artists. Legends like Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, Lyfe Jennings, and even Mariah Carey have all tipped their hats to Angie's influence. That's how far her reach went, across genres, styles, and eras. But Angie wasn't just a queen of neo-soul. She had her fingerprints all over hip-hop and R&B long before most folks realized it. She was out here breaking ground and shaking up the scene in ways people are just now starting to fully respect. Her impact on the game, massive.
At one of the biggest companies that I was with, Universal Music. It's the second part of the ugly truth. We began to research things to check on my royalties and my statements and things that of that nature, only to find out a lot of my publishing, a lot of my royalties, my mechanicals, they have all pretty much been stolen. As I begin to find out things that I never had to look into, because when you hire a team of people that to some degree supposed to have your back, you're thinking that they're getting it all together for you. You know, that's why, you know, I respect Oprah Winfrey in that respect when she said, do your own research. Just Stone, the celebrity, that I let a lot of important things slip through the cracks only because I didn't know any better. I worked very hard to take care of my kids as a single mother, and I'm being transparent. My kids' fathers just were not doing what they're supposed to do. So I had to step up and go in and do everything that I needed to do for my family, which is why I worked so hard, which is why I traveled so much, which is why I did shows, because at the end of the day, after 40-something years in the business, I'm like, well, why? Where are my royalties going? Because I'm not getting this. Come to find out, Universal Music has been receiving all my royalties, all my mechanicals. They've taken pretty much everything. They've stolen, I won't say stolen, but they have taken all the monies that were due to me. They have basically absorbed in that company. And even though there's several class action lawsuits, people that were working on my behalf never even registered the songs. All the songs that I've done, I'm only coming to find out they were not properly registered by the companies that I signed over to. People that were supposed to do their due diligence. So I am truly a walking testimony that God has carried me all this time. Because if you only knew how much money they have taken from me, how much they have stolen from me, monies that I'm supposed to be, I should have been able to retire 20 years ago with the money I've made, supposedly. But there are key people that have been driving the ships. And what they've been doing is improperly representing me, improperly stealing from me, taking things in their own hand, changing and switching lanes because they knew I didn't know that part. See, I'm not an attorney. I don't know everything. What I learned how to do was go out, work hard, get paid, come home, pay my bills, take care of my family. That part. The legal side, when you hire attorneys and managers and agents, they're supposed to make sure the gray area over there that they're in the driver's seat for, they're supposed to make sure you're taken care of. And even though they were taking care of themselves, they thought very little of taking care of me. And I know because I've seen it with my own eyes. So I'm just here to let you know, one way or the other, Universal Music, you're gonna have to give up my coins.
Let's rewind to when Angie was just 16. While most teens were worried about high school drama, Angie was already carving out music history. She linked up with Cheryl the Pearl Cook and Gwendolyn Blondie Chisholm to form The Sequence, the first female hip-hop group to ever do it. Let that sink in, the first. And they weren't just cute on a mic, they came with heat. Their breakout single, Funk You Up, wasn't just catchy. It became part of hip-hop DNA. That song echoed through decades of music. Dr. Dre sampled it, and it even played a role in shaping the vibe of Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars. But here's where the drama kicks in. They never got the credit or the royalty checks they deserved. None of the proper acknowledgement, no payout, nothing. And that's when The Sequence, led by Angie, decided they weren't about to let the industry play them. They filed a lawsuit against Mark Ronson for copyright infringement, calling out the shady treatment that women, especially black women, face in the music business. But Angie wasn't done yet. She kept leveling up, joining the hip-hop and electro-funk group Vertical Hold, where she continued pushing boundaries and bending genres. Before Angie Stone took over the spotlight as a solo star, she was already laying down the blueprint for R&B greatness. Stepping in as the lead vocalist for Vertical Hold, Angie gave the world soulful gems like Seems You're Much Too Busy, a track that still hits deep today. That song wasn't just smooth, it was a statement, showing the world Angie wasn't here to play. She was here to stay. It solidified her as a rising powerhouse, and from there she just kept leveling up.
Just happened to be in the studio this particular day, and because he never ever really bothered with me or spoke to me in that fashion, I wasn't a part of Uptown, I was just at MCA. On this particular day, I was coming off the elevator. I will never forget it as long as I live. And Puffy came to me, first time, speaking to me as a decent human being. And he said, "Hey, Miss Stone." I said, "Yeah, what's up?" He said, "How are you?" I said, "I'm fine. I'm shocked you speaking to me." He said, "Miss Stone, would you please pray with me?" I said, "Well, of course." When he asked me to pray with him, I believe at that moment Puffy was terrified for his life. I think that he was afraid because all of the things that had gone out and about that party, they were singling him out, and I don't think that he thought he was going to survive it. And I was just happy that whenever he didn't speak to me, I knew he couldn't see me. But on this day, he saw the God in me, which was so not about me, but it was so about the spirit that I carry.
As her career took off, Angie didn't just shine with her voice. She was writing, producing, and making major moves behind the scenes. With 11 studio albums to her name, she gave fans timeless tracks like I Wish I Didn't Miss You, No More Rain, Brother, and I Wanna Thank You. Each one was full of heart, pain, and power. You could feel her truth in every note. But Angie's brilliance didn't stop there. Her talent put her in rooms with the elite, Prince, Lenny Kravitz, and other legends who recognized her genius. And here's the twist. Not only did she collaborate with Lenny musically, she even played the saxophone for him. That's right, Angie was that versatile. She didn't just sing, she blew that horn like a pro. She also linked up with Lenny's cousin, Jerry DeVoe, forming a group called DeVoe, proving once again that Angie was always about evolving and expanding her creative circle. But one of the biggest marks she left on the industry, it happened behind the scenes, and it changed neo-soul forever. Angie was a secret weapon in crafting D'Angelo's sound. She helped write and produce vocals for his iconic albums Brown Sugar and Voodoo. These weren't just records, they were cultural shifts. The rawness, the sensuality, the soul. Angie helped build that. And she didn't just help professionally. Angie and D'Angelo were also romantically linked during that time. But don't let that soft R&B vibe fool you. Their relationship had some serious tension. While their chemistry in the studio was undeniable, behind closed doors it was a roller coaster. Passion, pressure, and two massive talents trying to build something real while navigating fame. It wasn't always pretty.
What do they want?
What do you mean? They want their payment. They want their pound of flesh. They want you to keep feeding the system. Doesn't matter how hard she worked for it. That's not her money. That's their money. That's what they do. They've been robbing me for years.
Yep.
They stole more money from me than they stole from Angie. I can't stop thinking about Nick Carter. And Aaron Carter. I can't stop thinking. Brother in the Illuminati, brother not in the Illuminati. Brother in the Illuminati commits all kinds of heinous crimes against women, and he's okay, but his brother's gone. And all he wanted was his money so he could push on. Like, how many of these things have to happen in front of the public? Of course they're going to attack, I'll be sure. Of course they're going to attack me. Of course they're going to attack anybody who's interested in the truth. Of course they're going to come at us really hard for that first 72 hours and make sure we stop posting, or at least get us flagged from being able to go live, so nobody thinks about the details of the fact that we just watch Angie Stone get moved around in real time on her son's.
Things between Angie and D'Angelo didn't just fizzle, they burned out. Behind the studio magic and steamy music, their relationship was rocky, tense, and downright toxic at times. Angie poured her heart, soul, and creative energy into D'Angelo's sound. But let's keep it real, his ego couldn't handle the truth. He never gave her the credit she earned, and that's what really broke them. He acted like she was just some background voice, when in reality she was a vocal architect behind his biggest hits. Angie stood by him during his rise, helped build that smooth, soulful sound fans went crazy for, and what did she get? Silence. No public praise, no proper credit, just industry whispers and closed doors. It wasn't just disappointing, it was disrespectful. But D'Angelo wasn't the only one who tried to dim Angie's light. Mary J. Blige, yes, the Mary, also made a bold move that rubbed Angie the wrong way. Angie once revealed she had been working on some tracks with D'Angelo, including songs called Every Day and one titled Die. But when Mary stepped in, that track Die got flipped into Paradise and dropped without Angie getting any shine for it. No writing credit, no acknowledgement, nothing. That's music politics at its worst. And as if that betrayal wasn't enough, Angie was dealing with someone else studying her every move, Jill Scott. Word on the street is that Jill's label had her shadowing Angie like a blueprint, from how she dressed, to her vibe, to her poetic style. Everything was inspired by Angie. Jill came out polished and praised, while Angie's influence went quietly ignored. Fans caught on though. Many started whispering that Angie walked so Jill could run, and the resemblance wasn't just coincidence, it was calculated. But the biggest stab in the back? Angie's own team. Her management, the people who were supposed to fight for her and protect her brand, were either sleeping on the job or just didn't care. Whether it was sloppy handling, shady priorities, or just plain neglect, they failed her when she needed them most. Deals weren't getting done, checks weren't being followed up on, and songs she helped write were slipping through the cracks without her name on them.
Like a double-edged sword, because I'm going to tell you one thing, and then I'm going to get to the worst thing that could possibly happen to any artist after 45 to 50 years in the business. The worst thing that could happen.
Hey really dropped the bag big time. Angie's team fumbled not just deals, but actual life-changing opportunities that could have taken her career to a whole other level. One of the most painful fumbles, she was originally in line to play the lead role in The Number, one ladies' detective agency, the same one that eventually went to Jill Scott. That was supposed to be her breakout acting moment. A whole series with worldwide eyes, and her people let it slip away like it was nothing. No follow-up, no fight, just silence. Meanwhile, Jill slid right in and made history. And just when it looked like Angie was finally gearing up to take control, things took an even darker turn. Only a few weeks before her passing, Angie was ready to shake the industry to its core. She was planning to take legal action against Universal Music Group over missing royalty checks, and we're not talking small money. Angie said she'd been getting shortchanged for years and she had reached her limit. She was done keeping quiet. According to her, almost everyone around her professionally had been playing her dirty. Her management, her label, her so-called team. Nobody was holding her down. Her managers, they barely fought for her, didn't protect her contracts, didn't demand better deals. And that gap gave the label the green light to move however they wanted, allegedly pocketing millions while Angie kept working herself to the bone. Imagine pouring your heart into every verse, every performance, and then watching others cash out on your name while you're left chasing scraps. That's exactly what was happening. Angie was showing up, giving legendary vocals, writing hits, mentoring artists, and yet she wasn't seeing the money that matched the grind. It was like she was trapped in a system built to use her voice, but silence her power. Her story wasn't just about missed checks. It was about being undervalued on purpose. And just when she was ready to fight back and get what was hers, something mysterious happens that leaves way more questions than answers. Now here's where things start feeling real shady. Angie Stone wasn't just an icon with a mic. She was also fearless when it came to speaking out. She had no problem calling out folks who tried to dim her light, and just weeks before her passing, she was loud and clear about going after those who did her dirty over royalties. So naturally, fans are now looking at the timing of her tragic car accident real sideways. Because let's be honest, this ain't the first time the industry's had smoke following an artist's death right after they start shaking the table. Angie was gearing up to take legal action against some very powerful folks. She was tired of being played, tired of being robbed, and ready to fight back with facts. And now she's suddenly gone. People are seriously asking, was it really just a tragic crash or something much deeper? The kind of accident that don't feel accidental at all, especially when she was the only one who didn't make it out alive. It's got folks saying the math ain't mathing, because how does everyone else walk away from a crash like that, but not Angie? And to be clear, nobody's out here wishing harm on anyone else, but when it's just one person gone and that person just so happens to be the one calling out corruption, yeah, people are gonna talk. Some are even speculating that she might have already been gone before the crash even happened. And that's not just wild rumor, that's fear, confusion, and frustration from fans who loved her and want the truth. Jaguar Wright, who's been dropping heavy tea lately, added fuel to the fire by saying Angie didn't just pass by chance. She was allegedly silenced because she was about to bring some serious secrets to the surface. According to Jaguar, Angie was about to blow the lid off a lot of powerful names who'd been hiding behind suits and smiles, collecting checks off her pain and legacy. She claims Angie wasn't just prepping for a court fight, she was collecting evidence, planning interviews, ready to name names. And in this industry, that kind of bravery can come with real danger. It's got people wondering, who was Angie about to expose? And what exactly was she about to say? One thing's for sure, this wasn't just another sad story. It's a wake-up call. It's wild, right? But when you really sit and think about everything we've seen from the music industry over the years, the shady deals, the missing royalties, the artists silenced when they speak up, it starts making way too much sense. It's like every time someone tries to stand on truth and challenge the machine, something just happens to them. And we're all expected to believe it was just bad luck. Please. Angie Stone was more than just a voice. She was a force, a real one. And she didn't hold back when it came to standing up for what she earned. That's why this whole situation feels too close for comfort. The timing, the details, the silence from the people who should be speaking out. It's got way too many red flags. So now the question isn't just what happened, it's who's gonna be brave enough to dig deeper. Anyway, I need to hear from you. What do you think really went down? Was this just a tragic accident, or is something way darker hiding underneath it all? Drop your thoughts down below in the comments. I'll be reading everything. And don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn those post notifications on so you don't miss the next time we spill the realest tea. This story's far from over, and you know StarHush is always gonna keep it raw and real. Catch you on the next one, my stars and my hushers. Stay sharp and stay woke.